Hi there, I'm Olivia Baum, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the final project and kind of what I thought about working in a remote team and just kind of the project in general and the different guidelines that we had. So to kind of start out with my initial thoughts of this project, I was a little worried just because I knew that my team members would be from different areas and that we wouldn't really be able to meet in person, which is normally how I would complete any group project. Um, and also kind of like given the guidelines and how all the different tasks and all the different things that would have to be done, I was a little worried about making sure that all my team members would be held accountable and that we would all be able to get this project done on time. So, but then once we were given our different team assignments, I hadn't worked with any of those, my team for the other project. But right away we started a Facebook group chat, and it was a little slow going at first, kind of getting people's thoughts on like what we should be doing and kind of planning out the next steps. But from the group chat, we started out with all coming up with a time to meet to like virtually chat and kind of actually kind of meet face to face and be able to meet everyone. So we planned that, and then I think that was like really quite helpful. We talked a lot about the project and people's experience and kind of like how they thought of the implicit bias test, the Harvard implicit bias test. Um, and from there, we were kind of all kind of started brainstorming ideas for the project and trying to use what we had learned over the past semester in that. So that meeting went really well, and yeah, we all kind of talked about like what our strengths were. So I know like me and Jenny we're not like super into the computer science. We're not like experts in that. So we kind of decided to kind of focus more on the like the content and coming up with the different questions for it. And then Cole and Rebob are both computer science majors, so they said that they would take care of more like database and some of the CSS stuff for the main project. So I think that was a nice way to all kind of come together and assign tasks, and we all were very we all kind of understood where people were coming from and like what they'd be most be interested in, rather than just assigning tasks based and like not really getting to know each other. I think that really helped kind of getting to know each other and kind of working out what people are best at. We used Zoom for our virtual chat, and that worked pretty nicely. One issue was you kind of had to have a paid account and that the timings expired. So a couple times the whole conversation would just end and then we'd have to like restart it up again. But overall, it worked pretty well. And then another thing, just with planning out different times to meet, Jenny was in a different time zone than Rebob and Cole and I. So we also just had to take that into account when setting up the meeting time, but it really wasn't a big deal. It helped out that everyone was pretty available at nighttime and could always find a time for all of us to come together. So then after that first meeting, we all kind of made our different edits and decided to have another meeting to kind of check back in. And that's also the time that we did our recording of our group kind of analysis of the whole project and what we all thought. So that meeting went really well again, kind of all just checking in with each other. I think it's really important to have that face-to-face contact and being able to like have one time where everyone meets and everyone can talk and put their input in. So that time worked out really well, and then we did the recording right on Zoom, and we had no issues really. Again, but right before we were about to start, the Zoom account kind of exited out because we maxed out on the time. But then, so we had put a bunch of notes in our chat discussion, and then after the whole screen exited out, we lost all those unfortunately. But we were able to, kind of brainstorm and remember what we were going to talk about, so it all worked out. So yeah, overall this whole experience of like working remotely was a good one for me, and I think it'll actually help a lot like with like future career development and everything. And I'm going to be working in places and with people from all over the world, so I think this will be like the tools that I learned and the skills will be helpful for that. And overall, like the team was great. We all had a great variety of skill, and we all brought a lot of different stuff to the table, and I think that made us a very strong team. Um, and then just some experience of the project in general and some feedback on the project. I guess like to start, like the different guidelines and the different steps that we had to do were a little confusing at first, and we weren't really given much structure on like what it's supposed to look like or examples. But we kind of just worked it all out together. So maybe just some feedback would just be more clear in like what's expected, and also like in the grading, like how like what the different scale is for like how much points you'd get docked for missing something, or what's more expected than just the very like kind of like the minimum that's shown right now. But overall, I thought this was a very interesting project that really kind of ties in all of the different topics that we talked about through the semester, and also yeah, all the different topics and all the different meetings and everything that we've read. We really use that all when we try to come up with our tests. So it'll be interesting now to look at everyone's revisions for their quizzes and kind of see what everyone's learned. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.